I do lean strongly on the creative side. By the time this podcast goes out, what we're saying is old. Every day there's something new and exciting going on with AI. Mistakes you made yesterday, you can fix tomorrow.
Absolutely. There's always a tomorrow. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Marketing Bytes. I'm your host G, and I will be in conversation with people doing incredible work in the world of marketing. You'll hear both stories and strategies from marketers who have conquered the multicultural, 200 nationality strong country that is the UAE. With over 20 years experience across South Africa and the GCC, he has helped shape retail through visual merchandising, product design, space planning, and campaign strategy. I'm very happy to introduce the out-of-the-box thinker and visual storyteller, Tyron Joseph. Hi, Tyron. Welcome
Hello.
to the Marketing Bytes.
Hi.
And thank you so much for being here.
I'm very excited to be here. It's great to be part of the Marketing Bytes. Yeah.
Super. So without further ado, let's get started. So moving from South Africa to Dubai, that was a big shift, not just geographically, but even creatively for you. What prompted that?
An exciting shift. I think it was 2015. My wife and I decided, let's try something new. We had both been in retail in South Africa for most of our working career. And we wanted change. We've always loved Dubai. We both were lucky enough to travel the world for work. The opportunities in retail in the UAE was growing at a rapid pace. The different retail brands in the region were, some of them just starting out, some of them had set up their foundation. So it was kind of the right time. And I think the UAE is just mind-blowing when it comes to what they're doing in the retail space. So,
almost like a hot pot for retail, right?
Yeah, I think in the past you'd have thought New York or LA or Oxford Street in London was the place to be for retail. But I think for the last 5-6 years, Dubai has definitely owned that space. The innovation, trying new things, it's just mind-blowing. So
Absolutely.
Just the other day I was having a work function. It was like a little meetup. And there was more than 5 or 6 different nationalities mixed together, having great conversation, bouncing ideas, having a bit of banter. And you don't get that anywhere else in the world, to be honest.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that completely. What was that first spark, that moment that actually got thinking, this is exactly what I want to do with my life?
That's a good question. So I finished design school. I can't remember which year, so don't ask me. And I think I studied graphic design, and the nice thing about graphic design is you're getting a little bit of a mix in your third year of fashion design, photography, the retail landscape. And I was worried I'd get bored quickly if I went straight into the advertising space. Mr. Price Group, which was kind of next door to where I was studying in Durban in South Africa, they were at their stage where they were growing at a rapid speed. They were still in that startup phase, but you could see the future and where the CEO wanted to take the business. And what was quite nice about that business is they were a very young, full of energy group. I was approached by the MD of a new startup within the group called Mr. Price Sport. He had seen some of my work. I was really lucky. One night I was working late. I think I was still at the office at 10 p.m. And they were getting ready for a presentation the following day or 2 days later to the board of the group. I think we stayed at the office until 5 a.m. We were just, preparing the presentations, showing what the range would look like. And I think it was that night I realized how much is involved in retail, from the visual merchandising, the store design, the product development, the planning that goes behind each price point of each garment, the good, better, best, and all of those different elements that pull the brand and the business together. So it was at that moment that I realized retail's for me.
Right. So that brings me to the next question. You call yourself an out-of-the-box retail guy. How does that translate into your day-to-day work life?
Okay, great question. I love how challenging the retail landscape is, the fashion retail landscape, the value fashion retail landscape, as well as the branded fashion retail landscape. Every day is a new challenge, looking at what the customer's expectations are, how we can improve the shopping experience in the stores, how we can improve the omnichannel experience, so what the customer's seeing digitally, how we can capture them so quickly in a couple of seconds, whether they're walking past a beautiful window or scrolling on Instagram.
Right.
And once we've got them into the store, how we can give them the experience they're looking for. We often look at the previous week, the previous day, or the previous year, and see how we can be better at it for the days ahead. Yeah. And it is all about thinking outside the box. What can we do differently? How can we challenge ourselves? Sometimes we do have to go back to basics, but I think the retail landscape is moving so fast, and there's so much going on. There's so many competitors out there. So you just always got to be top of mind and just think of how we can make sure the customer is happy in the experience we're offering them.
Is different at the same time, right?
And is different at the same time,
yeah. You have an art background. You're a very creative person. Did this artistic mindset ever help you solve a real business or retail challenge?
I guess so, yeah. I think, look, I've got to thank my parents. My mom's an art teacher. I think growing up at home, there been art books from the Renaissance days, from you name it, you name a genre, and she's got a book that covers it. So I think growing up in a household where there was a lot of expression through imagery, sketching, drawing, photography, things like that, and my dad's side being more on the technical side, being a mechanic, working with machinery, managing factories. So I got that balance of how technical and artistry kind of comes together. Okay. And I often refer to, my upbringing when chatting to people, that it kind of merged quite nicely in the job I'm in now. So having that merge of the technical side and the creative side has helped me in my career. I do lean strongly on the creative side. Yes. I like to still get very involved in the design process. I think I drive the junior graphic designers that work with me at my office, as well as on the agency side. I think I drive them quite crazy because I still like to sometimes get very involved on certain aspects of the design.
Right, absolutely. Was there a moment in your career where you actually realized the scale and potential of what retail design could be?
Yes. I was extremely lucky in my working career to have traveled to Nike, Portland, in Oregon. I think it was 2010 or 2011 where I got the opportunity to go there and represent part of the business that I was consulting for. So I got to see the Nike head office. Oh, wow. And yeah, it blew my mind. And that's where I realized how just everything comes together in sports fashion or streetwear, how athletes are sponsored and work so closely with the brand on brand development, how they design their stores, how they're thinking of the seasons ahead. And it really blew my mind. And I think that's where I just realized how amazing retail is, sports retail, branded retail, fashion retail, and all the opportunities that come with it.
Right. So it kind of opened the door to a different universe for you, right? This experience.
Yes, coming from South Africa, where we obviously don't have the Nike towns. Yeah. It really did. Yeah. I was lucky enough to travel with someone that worked for Nike, with one or two of my other colleagues. And we got to travel to Mexico, London, New York, Orlando, Portland. And we would see all the different retails in those different markets, have good conversation about what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, where there's opportunity for the market in South Africa at the time. The different products that maybe our customer would like that they weren't getting at the time. But yeah, that office just really made me, it blew my mind.
You've worked on everything, from campaign rollouts to photo shoots to shooting for social media content as well. When you're collaborating with agencies, how do you keep those dots connected? Just to ensure that what you see in the stores is actually what translates online as well.
So I drive the agencies mad. I'm so detail orientated with regards to the subject. So launching the window, making sure the font family and the color palette we're using in the window comes through in the Omni experience.
Right. Following the brand guidelines to the T.
Following the brand guidelines. The dress code of the mannequins must be the same as what we shot on the models, from hairstyling to the way we've styled the belt or the shoes or the handbag or whatever the case is. So the touch points need to link. When we're launching a campaign, I'd rather delay the campaign by an hour or two because I need e-com, the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all to be aligned to what we're doing in the stores, because the store is the home.
Absolutely.
Our staff need to have the script, know what they're going to tell the customer about the new collection, the new range, the fabrics of the range. So
everybody needs to be speaking the same language at the same time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's so important that in my role that we make sure that everyone's aligned. So I think alignment is key, attention to detail, and just keeping really basic templates and spreadsheets so you know that all these touch points have been covered, making sure that you're not putting too much pressure on the soldiers in the store. Yeah. It drives me mad if my team is running a day late, because it really does put a lot of pressure on the guys that are in front of the customer 12, 13 hours a day.
It's like a snowball effect, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Tell us something, you're very passionate about, and I think you have an interest towards photo shoots and being creative. Do you have an interesting experience to share with us?
I've really had a lot of fun on photo shoots, but one or two that stand out. I was shooting in the desert. It was the middle of nowhere. It was quite a warm day. The whole crew was on set, and it was going great. The shoot was perfect. Everything was shooting well. We were getting the right poses. All the models were in the mix. It was just great. And then the camera crashed.
Oops.
It overheated, I think.
Yeah.
We had backups. We had 2 backup cameras. Second one crashed an hour later. So these things happen, and you make a plan. So lucky enough, we did have the 3rd camera on set, but at the same time, you're worried about that camera crashing. So we had to get someone from the production house to bring in other backup cameras.
Right.
You've had models on set, especially with the kids. They're just not in the mood. They'd rather play with the iPad.
It's very challenging, yes.
But that's what makes it great, because once the day is done, because you've got a deadline, you've got a call time, you've got to get those shots out. The business is relying on you for that communication for next season. So you make it happen, and you try and have a lot of fun doing it.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, you can sit back and relax and be proud of what you've done.
Yes.
You've worked in sportswear, value fashion, and kids wear, and many more multiple categories. Do you completely shift your creative approach when you're looking at each category, or is it more like one-size-fits-all approach for all of them?
So I thought I had it hard before, where I was working with menswear, womenswear, sportswear, kidswear, and footwear. Now I'm also looking after homeware and lingerie. So yes, you have to take off one hat, put a different hat on. I think there's fundamentals, and there's a basic foundational template that I always refer to in, my approach, and when coming up with an idea or, having the conversation with the relevant teams. I think there are some common points, but you do have to shift because the customer is different, the target audience is different. So, you you do have to put on a different hat and have a slightly different approach. But the most important thing to me is being authentic to myself. So I've kind of got to put myself in the customer's shoes and work out how we're going to get the right message across to them without being too pushy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. When you step into a store, what is the first thing that you notice, and what do you think is the first thing that customers notice?
For me, the energy of the store. So the most important thing to me is when I'm walking into the store, is I look at the staff. I want to feel that they're comfortable and happy. And, when the leadership team or the heads of departments are traveling to stores, it's obvious that everyone's going to feel a little nervous. So I try and get there earlier, settle everyone down, make a joke, shake hands, just make them realize that we visitors, it's their store. Right. So the most important thing to me is that sort of energy of the store staff.
Right.
Because I think that's the most important thing to the customer. Secondly, I like to make sure the front of the store is looking good. The standards of the visual merchandising is up to brand scratch.
Yeah.
The window display, and how easy it is for the customer to find what they're looking for.
Right.
So making sure that if it's within the value space, the price point that we know they're looking for is easy to find. And if it's more in the sort of bridge to luxury space, that the assortment is right for them and they can find their size easily.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. When you're planning a visual story, is there a go-to platform or tool that you really like working with, or something that you generally use that bring these ideas to life?
Yeah, so from a platform point of view, I think Instagram is my sort of daily go-to for just check-ins. I'm following a lot of fashion designers and photographers, brands that are breaking boundaries. But then I'll also look at what's going on online, so Pinterest, WGSN, and some of the other platforms. But I also like to have random conversations with the strangest of people, so I would be walking towards walking through the mall, and I'd have a random chat with the head of operations or the planning manager, and just, hey, what do you think of this color? Or what do you think of this as an idea? And just, reading their body language to see what they think. So I take all of these elements and try and mold it into the idea. Working with my advertising agency, because I don't have all the time in the world to research, I'll ask them to explore certain things and put some mood boards together for me.
Which brand, according to you, has a 10 on 10 on tech integration, something that has helped improve customer experience?
So I don't shop at Sephora, but I must say I think Sephora is nailing it. I read a lot of articles about what they're doing. I'm often walking past the stores, and they've nailed it. I think the community and the customer following they have, how they can create hype for their customer, the shopping experience it's so exciting. There's so much energy in those stores. I believe that the technology they're working with behind the scenes on how they're integrating AI and working with the different, sort of platforms to bring everything together, how they're messaging and communicating with their customers, their online platform, their store shopping experience. I think Zara, Nike, Amazon are also all doing an incredible job. Yeah. How they can, bring it all together, how they kind of know what I want. Yeah. It's a little scary, actually.
Right. Talking about AI, the world seems to be moving towards it. Everyone wants to adopt it in their daily work lives. How do you see AI transforming the way in which visual merchandising strategies are developed and implemented?
AI, it's, by the time this podcast goes out, what we're saying is old. Every day there's something new and exciting going on with AI. And we've just got to get on board.
Yeah.
We've got to integrate it into our way of working. So I think when I was looking at CVs in the past, I needed the candidate to know how to work Photoshop or SketchUp or Word.
Illustrator.
Now they have to have some kind of AI experience. And you can't expect anyone to have 5 years of AI experience.
Absolutely.
3 months of AI experience is better than no months of AI
And it's
experience.
ever evolving, right?
Yeah. So I use AI a lot. When it comes to VM strategy or VM campaigns or store design, I'll ask my friendly AI avatar a few random questions, and it could be about lux levels. The lighting in a store. Hey, what do you think the best lighting environment is? And it'll pump out some questions, and it's not about me just taking that answer. It's about me then going and visiting that store.
Right.
Or if I'm working on some future seasonal campaigns, I might ask AI to take 1 or 2 of my renders and give me a little summary of what they think.
Right.
There's opportunity. So it's kind of just a friendly assistant.
Right.
But
Right.
there's so much going on with AI. The incredible work that some of these brands are doing where they can do entire store designs in AI, campaigns in AI. It's mind-blowing. It's really exciting. And I think it does scare us, but it's the way we integrate it. I think that human touch is still really important, and especially considering we're selling our product to humans to wear,
As well.
to use, that you can't lose sight of that. You've just got to use AI as a tool to help you be a better version of what you were yesterday.
You've been in the industry for about 20 plus years now.
That long? Oh my God.
That's amazing. And to continue in the same industry, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what keeps your perspective fresh and your curiosity alive?
I'm really always excited about tomorrow. The retail day resets at midnight. So the mistakes you made yesterday, you can fix tomorrow.
Absolutely. There's always a tomorrow.
And I always tell especially my junior team, where maybe they made a small mistake or they feel they've messed up. I'm like, it's not heart surgery. We can fix it.
Yeah.
We can fix it tomorrow. Relax now and don't stress. We've got this. We've got it covered. So, I can say the typical things of, staying in tune with what's going on with all the different trends and retail spaces. But I just really get excited about what tomorrow brings and what challenges we can take on and how we can improve the business, how we can simplify things. Yeah.
Super. All right. Would you say that the GCC is moving towards more of a narrative-led in terms of storytelling or purpose-driven, or is value still ruling the roost?
So I think the segmentation within the markets in the UAE is wild. You've got the value places, and they serve a purpose and an important purpose. Then you've got the luxury, and you've got everything in between that. I think what the Gen Zs and actually all of us are really looking for is authentic brands, someone with the right story. They're true to themselves. They're not shifting and adapting every day to suit the sales. They believe in what they're doing, whether it's sustainable, whether it's value fashion, whether it's the style of how it's made, whether it's linked to a sports endorsement, whether it's for workwear or casual wear or party wear or whatever. So, it's a tough question to answer, but I think there's a place for everything and everyone, as long as you're true to yourself as a retailer.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk trends. Which trend, in your opinion, do you think is overhyped at the moment?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So I don't know if it falls into the trend category, but what drives me mad is the amount of QR codes.
Oh.
The QR codes we see in every retailer, from the grocery stores to some of the luxury fashion stores and a lot of the stores in between that. a QR code everywhere. And I get it. I understand why it's there, and maybe there's a place. But I do think it's becoming part of the negative noise in the shopping experience. I think we can all learn to reduce
a bit of that noise.
To make the customer's experience and journey a little bit more exciting, to sell the actual product. It does tend to make the customer have to work harder. Where I'd rather have the store team having a little bit more engagement and conversation with that customer. And I get it, if they don't want to scan it, or if they don't want to log on to whatever that QR code is selling, or you join in, I respect the customer's space. But mostly, if you greet a customer in a friendly tone, you've helped them with their purchase, and now you want to educate them about something else, I think it goes a long way compared to, hey, sir, please scan the QR code.
Absolutely. So on the other side, what trend or which trend do you think holds real brand promise?
I think brands that have a true story. I think the days of just switching your styles, it's a big 90s music trend, so everything's going to look 90s music, and then you jump into everything's doing loungewear or yoga. I think those days are over. I think your brand has to have purpose and a real beautiful story behind it.
Storytelling.
Storytelling, but I think we all, in marketing, we're all pretty good at telling stories, but the roots of the brand are so important. So, if you're looking for, let's say you're getting into yoga, then shop a yoga brand that comes from a yoga heritage that yoga professionals have used. Don't just go to your closest value fashion retailer and buy their knockoff yoga. I think it's really important that the lifestyle that you live in aligns to the brand you're wearing.
Okay. Yeah. From a VM perspective, what do you think is one of the biggest challenge that visual merchandisers or retailers in Dubai face today?
So one of the toughest things and most challenging things for the VM crew is having that dual skill set of being able to be extremely talented behind a computer as well as being hands-on in the store. And with the tough working environments we work in, we kind of want everyone to be able to do everything. So it's really positive to promote within your organization. So you take someone that worked on the floor as a sales staff member, they moved into a VM position in the store, then they became an area VM or regional VM, and now they're ready for sort of a middle management role at the corporate level. But now you're expecting them that they've been hands-on for maybe 5 or 6 years to just sit behind a computer and be able to work all those programs. So I think it's quite challenging to try and find certain talent. And I often, when I'm doing workshops in the stores, I often promote the guys and say, hey, you need to get behind the computer. You've got a great eye, you're doing a great job in the stores, but I need you to
be a little more tech savvy.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, with so many brands competing for eyeballs, how do you stand out without being too loud?
I think this is the question we ask ourselves every day. You've got to look after your customer. You've got to look after the customer that's been loyal to your brand, and whether there's different loyalty programs that do that, or reaching out to them in other ways, they are the most important because they've shopped, they've been part of your experience. And I think if you're true to yourself, if you're true to your brand, the customer will come. In certain regions, you've got to be a little bit cost effective and promotional, just to help them, And in other areas or other brands, you've got to believe in yourself and give them what you believe is right.
So I was wondering, with so many brands competing for eyeballs, how do you stand out amongst the crowd without being too loud?
I think the most important thing is to be authentic to whoever you are as the brand. Don't switch and change. You've just got to be real and true to what you're selling, what you believe in as a brand, and your customer will come.
Okay, moving on to one of my favorite rounds, the rapid fire rounds.
Rapid fire?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I hope I'm ready.
All right. It's pretty simple. You can say that in one word. You want to say a sentence. It's all up to you. But because it's rapid fire, we say one word.
Cool.
Right? Most inspiring city you've worked in or been to?
LA.
Okay. A product category that always surprises you creatively?
Sneakers.
A brand that is nailing visual merchandising right now?
Ooh, tough question. Running out of time. Louis Vuitton.
Super. One thing that your team says you're obsessed with getting right?
Alignment.
Sneakers or suits? What's your work uniform?
Sneakers.
AI design tool or Adobe Suite?
Tricky one. I think Adobe is. I'll still go with Adobe. Yeah.
Still the old school guy. One design myth you'd love to debunk?
Design is not always about making it look pretty.
A creative prop that never fails you?
A podium.
Absolutely. I've heard that before.
A rectangular podium.
If you had to give a shout out to somebody, someone who's been a constant all through your years, who would that be?
So I think I'd probably give a shout out to three people. My parents built an incredible foundation for me. For my brother and I, they put everything they could in front of us. They made us work hard. They brought us up well. The community that we had around us with grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles and all of that, the support structure. And I think we tend to forget about how the foundation that builds is just so important to all of us. And I'm super grateful for that. And I often believe I wouldn't be in the position I am if it wasn't for them.
Okay.
And then I've got to have a big shout out to my wife. We met we met in design school together. We both started our first jobs at Mr. Price.
Okay.
And we kind of followed each other to different industries. We're both in the retail industry. We both support and help each other through thick and thin, often work-related stresses. And, we find the light at the end of the tunnel every time. Yeah. So, yeah, big shout out to my... Hello, Amy.
It's like teamwork.
Yeah, it is teamwork. And I think that's so important, especially in the fast-moving retail business we're in. And it's funny, our friends and family, they just don't... They sometimes don't get it. Where I'm like, tomorrow I'm going to Milan and my wife's flying to Abu Dhabi, my wife's flying to Bahrain, and when she gets back, I'm going somewhere else. And it's been, I think, 15 or 16 years of the traveling and the retail and all of that, and we really understand each other well. We support each other and kind of finish each other's sentences.
So Tyron, this has been an incredible session full of wonderful stories and takeaways on how you see design and build strategies across retail. But before we wrap, is there something that you would like to say to the young creatives who are trying to make a mark in retail today?
Yeah, I think try and find your passion. I often don't feel that I've worked a day in my life because I really love what I'm doing. I feel I'm pretty good at it. So follow your passion, have fun doing it, make a few mistakes, it's okay. Don't be reckless, just really enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So thank you once again for joining us. It was an amazing session. And to everyone who's listening, keep pushing boundaries, keep asking questions, and see you on the next episode of the Marketing Bytes. Plug in, power up, and press play.